I need to officially go over some of the rules that you have to follow. First, you must not talk about the case amongst yourselves. The only place this case may be talked about is in the jury room, and then only at the very end of everything that we just talked about when you begin your deliberations. Second, you must not talk about this case with anybody else. And as I mentioned yesterday, that includes members of your family, loved ones, friends, that neighbor down the street. And they are going to want to talk to you about this, and they're going to want to find out what your take is on this. But as I mentioned, the only thing you can tell folks is that you're in the middle of a murder trial, and that you're part of the jury. And when it's all over, then you'll have the opportunity to talk about this case if you want to, but not before it's finished. You cannot allow anyone else to talk with you or say anything in your presence about this case. If anyone communicates or attempts to communicate with you or in your presence about this case, immediately notify one of the bailiffs. They will let me know, and I will take care of that problem. Third, while you sit as a juror in this case, you must not form an opinion about the guilt or the innocence of the defendant or what the outcome of the case should be. Nor are you to express to anyone any opinion about the case until I tell you to begin your deliberations. Also, you are not allowed to conduct independent research by looking up anything on the internet with your laptops, Blackberries, or in your computers at home on topics discussed by the witnesses at trial, or by consulting encyclopedias, dictionaries, or other research tools. For the young here, encyclopedias were these books that old people like me had to use to find out answers to questions. I have no idea if anybody still has encyclopedias in your home. I'm just asking you to pass them by while you're during this trial and not look anything up. I don't know if anybody has a BlackBerry anymore either. We clearly need to update our instructions just a little bit. This case has to be decided by you only on the testimony, the evidence, and the final instructions on the law given by me. Fourth, you must not talk or communicate in any way with any of the parties in this case, or any of the lawyers, any of the witnesses, or any of the observers here in the courtroom. This rule applies outside as well as inside the courtroom, and it prohibits any type of communication, whether about the evidence in the case, or whether about the weather, or just to pass the time of day. I know, like I said earlier, you all are very nice folks and very friendly, and normally you would pass the time of day with folks you see around the courthouse. But while you're in that protective bubble of being a juror, it just cannot happen. Fifth, you must not read about this case in the newspaper, or listen to radio broadcasts, or watch television reports about this trial, or read anything in any other form, whether it's on the internet or otherwise. Newspaper, radio, and television accounts may be inaccurate, or they may contain references to matters that are not proper for your consideration. Your verdict must be based exclusively on what is brought out in this courtroom. Sixth, you must not visit the scene or place that is the subject matter of this trial, or again make any independent inquiry or investigation about this matter. Each of you must obey these rules to the letter. Unless you do so, there's no way that the state or the defendant can be assured of absolute fairness and impartiality. It is your duty while the trial is in progress, or while it's in recess, or while you're in the jury room, to see that you remain a fair and impartial juror. If you violate these rules, you violate the order of the court. I don't anticipate that's going to be a problem,